So, welcome everyone. I am not Sean Evans. I am in fact Raven Dawn, and I'm here with Wayward Echo. And we are here today because of you guys and helping to support our ExtraLife friends and giving back as much as we could. So, Echo, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I was feeling strong coming into this, but now that I'm smelling the waft of the hot sauce coming off this, it's a little more intense than I was thinking.
I'm getting the same little Bernie nostril thing going on from mostly this end, but...
Well, you'll get the other end later.
Yes, that's true. All right, so shall we begin?
So which way am I going here?
All right, we're going to start over here. We're going to start with just the Hot Ones Classic hot sauce, and then move all the way down to your favorite, mine, the Last Dab.
All right.
All right, so first one up, classic hot sauce. Cheers.
Cheers. Yep.
It's classic.
It's good. It tastes like hot sauce. I can't complain about it. But I am hungry.
So we're here because of ExtraLife. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about and how it's affected you and why you're involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So ExtraLife is actually what got me into this whole streaming and web content creation type stuff. My daughter spent, I think, total 15 days out of her first year at a children's hospital. She had RSV, and for anyone who doesn't know, it's really nasty respiratory infection for kids. And the doctors were incredible, but it's tough seeing your kid hooked up to breathing machines and stuff like that. And so it just really impacted us. And so we started as a family doing this huge 24-hour ExtraLife stream, and I brought my kids into it. And yeah, it's just been a passion project ever since.
It's awesome. I love the giving back, and you know better than anyone what you go through. So there's probably a lot of people out there who could really help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
So on that, cheers.
Clink,
Clink,
and then
clink.
we drink. Delicious. Too bad there's no booze in there.
None at all.
All right, we're ready to move on?
Sure. What do we got next? What's up?
Next up, we have Adobo Loco, Island Wings.
Still pretty mild.
Yeah, this one's got a little pineapple, some cayenne. I'm getting a little bit of like the citrusy vibes to it. I get where they're coming with Island Wings. But given that, word on the street is that you were involved in LARPing at one point in time in your life. Could you elaborate on that and give us a little insight into how that went about and came about?
Sure. My friends, I used to live down in Atlanta, and my friends just drug me into it. It was one of those situations where
you were dragged into it. Okay, there wasn't any other.
There may have been drugs too. I don't know. No, but I had a friend of mine who literally paid for me to go.
Wow.
And he was like, I need someone to carry my stuff. And I was like, okay. And from there, I just got hooked, and I ended up being a creative content creator for that. I was a storyteller. So 15, 20 years of LARPing, making props and sewing and makeup, and I built a foam latex oven at one point in time. So I got a lot of mileage out of it.
So you got into LARPing to become a porter.
Yes.
All right. Well, everybody starts out at adventuring career at some point, right? Next one we're going to move on to is the Mesaline, Gazaken.
You need your glasses for that one?
I don't know what you're talking about. What glasses? All right. So. Ooh.
Okay. Now we're starting to actually get some of that heat.
A little bit of stuff happening in the background there. But there's also a good upfront flavor, which is nice. It goes without saying, but you're obviously a gamer. So can you give us like what are some of your most formative memories of gaming and What do you remember most, and what kind of gets you excited about that?
So I think what got me into gaming originally was just the story aspects and the challenge of breaking a system, honestly. Like looking at a system, and my friends get frustrated with me sometimes because I regularly will play through a game and figure out the break mechanic on it. And I'm like, this isn't fun, it's poorly designed. And they're like, well, stop breaking the mechanics. But these days, I think what I live for is the special moments that you make with community. And this kind of started with me back in, I did World of Warcraft back in the day, original World of Warcraft with, the 40-man raids and stuff like that, and had an awesome community of friends. And then kind of in Destiny and Destiny 2, I did the same thing. And now in 7 Days to Die, I've got just this amazing, community of both players and content creators, and I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's awesome, because obviously, in general, it's like one big community as it is, right? I mean, we're all gamers at some aspect or way or shape or form. So, cool. All right. Next up, we got Los Calientes.
This is one I've been excited for. Every time I've ever watched, Sean Evans doing the Hot One Challenge, the guests always seem super excited about this one. So, been waiting for this one.
Alrighty, dig in. So yeah, there's there's the flavor, and then it's a lingering, right? It's kind of sitting there.
I was hoping for a little bit more out of that one. The heat's not there yet, though.
Yeah, I get a little. I'm not saying it's not without heat, but it's nothing earth-shattering. I think it's a good flavor balance, though. So given that, if you could recapture one aspect of your childhood to share with your children, what would it be and why?
Oh man, that's a tough one. So this is a weird one, and it's going to sound generational, and I hate anti-generation shenanigans. This is one that I generally think about. So I'm a big music person, and there's one experience that my children will never have that we grew up with, and that's really the concept of a shared experience with music. So there's so much music out there today, and kids have access to so much, and I love that. I absolutely do. And I partially wished I had that as a kid, but as a result, we can go back and I can play any song from when we were kids, and you will know it. It will trigger a memory and a shared experience that we have between us. And our children will never have that. And kind of in that same vein, they'll never understand the concept of an album. Like getting an album and playing it start to finish and having that be an encapsulated event and moment. And
finding out which songs in there you want to skip. Well, old days too. Sometimes you had to fast forward. We're not dating ourselves or anything. But yes, no, that totally makes sense. All right, we ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, this is the Seventh Reaper.
This sounds like we're getting a little bit more serious now.
It's the Saucy Leopard. The Saucy Leopard.
I like that.
All right, here we go.
Might change my name. The heat builds on this one.
Yep, but I'm not getting a lot of flavor from it, right? It's just one of those ones where it feels like there's a little bit of heat. We added some spices to it, but the sauce itself is just it kind of lays flat.
I'm not getting the smoke or the So, but not bad.
One of the big questions was, what do you do for a living, and how did that turn you into wanting to get into this whole content creation gig?
So, from a living perspective, I've got a weird journey, folks. It was just weird. So, I've got degrees in creative writing and French. And then from there, I clearly went on to become an engineer. Because that's what you do with those degrees.
It's the logical projection, right?
It's what you do. So I went on back in the days, and I built IBM RS-6000 systems up, And I was with a company that had this amazing business concept. So they said, you know what, when Y2K happens, we need to be able to basically create a mock server, have companies replicate it, we'll rent these out, and then let them tip them over to 2K, to Y2K and see what happens. And for some reason, they didn't have a business model afterwards. So clearly that failed. So that started my life in IT. So I spent 20 years in, IT program management of various sorts. I also did programming for radio stations. So I spent a good 10 years of that doing NPR West Coast facility, XM facility, C-SPAN, K-Rock out in California, if you know that. So bunch of stuff. And then I did satellites. I've done lots of stuff.
You had some international stuff too. It was ESPN, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I did ESPN Singapore was another one that I did. But yeah, I got to travel all over for both the radio side of the house, and then when I went on and worked in the government landscape in satellite communications, I also flew around to Scotland and Portugal and all over the place. So
you didn't discover any, drinks in any of those travels?
No, I never found drinks there.
Okay, so completely dry.
Yeah, completely dry places.
Awesome. All right, well, I think this is another one you were looking forward to. We're going to move on next to the Collards and Ghost. I'm sure the ghost is just, trying to scare us, right? There's no ghost peppers or anything. But let's give it a go, shall we?
We shall. I do like my collards.
Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. I instantly got something that started like a sweet.
I like this one already. The heat's picking up.
It's slowly building. Yep, definitely getting that. But given that you've gotten into this whole content creation thing, some people were asking, what advice can you give people looking to get into content creation? How do you grow? What do you evolve? What do you start with?
I think you start with insanity, and you build from there.
Oh, we're not quite there yet.
Oh, sorry. No, but seriously, I would tell anyone who's looking for a quick win that this isn't the space for you. It is daunting, it's intimidating, it's rewarding, but there's just so much. And when you're getting started off, one of my favorite people that I looked to was Harris Heller. He had a lot of really good feedback and a lot of realism in terms of, like, if you want to get into content creation, be ready to do the work. Like, be ready to fail. Be ready to fail and own it. To say, this isn't the algorithm. This isn't someone else that messed up. I did something wrong. I did something that made this video or this live stream unsuccessful. And learn to adapt. And the faster, I think, as a new content creator, that you learn to analyze your own work and get out there, and then balance that with the other aspect, which is don't overanalyze. You just got to put stuff out there sometimes. You just got to put it out and see how it operates, and then pivot.
And then there's probably that whole aspect to, no matter, you're never going to please everyone. There's always going to be, there's going to be some haters, just something along, advice for dealing with that in general.
Well, there's two bits of that. The first thing is if you develop haters, then congratulations. You've done something right.
They still count to the views, right?
Yes, so if people's thumbs down on your video, that counts as engagement. Just the same as a thumb up. The way the algorithm functions doesn't really care. So you should look at that as a plus and learn not to take it personally. And you should also learn that when there's legitimate criticism, that you own up to it. Rather than like getting mad at someone, saying your content has a problem, you should look at that, and if it's legit criticism, adjust and say, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you pointing that out for me. And even if they're super toxic about it, if it's legit, kill them with kindness. Just respond back and say, hey, man, you know what? That's right. I had, I go back to my video that I did, one of my Alpha 20 videos that's performed very well for me, but lots of people are like, oh my God, why can't this asshole turn the music down? What year is it? And I'm like, you know what? I was tired. I had stayed up all night long to produce that video, and I didn't QA it. at the last minute, and it went out. And I listened back to it, and I'm like, oh my God, my ears are bleeding listening to the music. I can't hear anything that I'm saying. It was horrible.
Yeah, it's one of the first videos I could actually hear music in your video. So thank you for that, by the way. All right. Well, we're up through Collards and Ghosts. We're going to move on to Turfing's Curse from Holaji.
That sounds tasty.
Alrighty, let's see how this one goes. I'm expecting more upfront heat now as we get closer to the end.
This one took a step down.
Yeah, I think I'm not feeling. I mean, there's definitely heat. Like I'm getting the definite heat, but I expected it to ramp up higher. Like it kind of like it hitting the lips. It was kind of like a little higher than when it's kind of going to right now. But maybe that's one thing they would change is make it a little bit more intense. But what is one thing you would change about the Wayward Echo channel? Wayward. Hey, things are getting hot in here. Things aren't coming out right, but yes. What would you change and why?
I think the biggest thing is I'd like to be able to produce content faster. That's my biggest frustration. It's my biggest holdback in growth. I feel like what I'm putting out right now is pretty high quality. I'm happy with what I'm producing, but I'm not doing it fast enough. And I'm trying to figure out ways to be more efficient to do that. I've got, I need to get back, and I also would like to get back to doing a little bit more base design stuff, because that's kind of what grew my channel to start with. And then I kind of had everyone coach me on, you really need to do a series. And I've been doing the collector series, which I love, but man, it is so time intensive to produce, because it's a recording, and then it's coming up with a story, a layered story to make it interesting, because we all know 7 Days to Die doesn't have a story to start with.
If you ever need subject, I'm always available. You just make it about me.
That's true.
Well, Raven has never been shy about looking for attention.
Well, maybe I'll just add you in. I've been slowly doing that with people.
Well, I feel like I did, at least got my toes in the water. With the 7 Days to Die is a perfect game with 0 bugs.
Permanently and forever.
So yes, cheers. This one still hanging around, but
I didn't get any. But are we at that one?
We are getting to the one of dread. So, not looking forward to this one. This is the point where everybody seems to just die on the show. So it is now time for the bomb behind insanity, which this is the point where I think maybe we are insane for doing this, but
it's for the kids, right?
It's for the kids. It's for the kids. It's for the kids. All right. Cheers, everyone.
Get it on the nose straight off the bat. Ooh, what the? That went from. No, I'm finishing it.
All right. Well, if you are, I have to.
Oh God.
Man, there's just somebody's don't make any flavor. Just make it terrible. Oh man, why? Since you're in a happy place, this is the part in the interview process where we ask you about a picture and to tell us a little bit about it and how it came to be, what happened, what were the circumstances for it. So we'll pop that up for everybody to see. Go ahead. Why don't you tell us about that one?
Well, first off, I can. Shit.
Hot Ones moment.
Woo! That's building. That's. Yep, I'm good.
Yeah, the picture, right?
Yeah, the picture's great. Okay, now I'm sweating. So yeah, I mentioned the whole I can talk, folks. I mentioned the LARPing thing, and from that I learned to make a lot of costume work, and so Voldemort was a reoccurring character that I did, and this was from the Yule Ball up here in Milwaukee, where only by the grace of Raven and his kind wife, I made it home that night, because I I may have had a few drinks that night. I may have danced a lot that night, and for the record, I don't dance. And but apparently, when Voldemort gets fed enough drinks, Voldemort must dance.
I can honestly add on that as his heir Slytherin, there were lots of people that wanted Voldemort to have a drink with them that night. Not as much the guy from Slytherin, but Voldemort anyway. So yeah, that's awesome. And those antlers, I gotta give you this. This is one of the times where Echo actually laughed at one of my jokes. Everything's fine here, folks. Everything is fine. I said, hey, that guy's got a nice rack. And he actually laughed. So I put it on the calendar because that was early January. I'm like, well, I'm done for the year. So awesome. Well, I'm glad we could both enjoy the bomb Beyond Insanity together. I'm sure everything's going to be fine from here on out. And I'm just going to take one more sip.
Enjoy's a strong word. Everything's burning now.
Well, I'm looking at that milk going, I don't need it. All right.
I look at that milk as failure. I mean, you drink it if you need it, but I'm looking at that as failure.
All right. Well, so we did the insanity. Now we're going to go to Dingo Psycho. Because what's beyond insanity? Apparently psycho. So
I'm hoping that much like watching the show, it always seems like this one's
you're coming back down.
It's like a pleasant reprieve.
You hit the mountain, and we're going to come back down the other side now.
All right.
So says I. In my head.
Here's hoping.
I'm trying to keep it off the lips.
That's got some interesting stuff going on, though.
It's not overtaking, which, thank goodness. Yeah. I'm gonna do 2 bites of that. That's fine.
That's got some. God, what I want to. There's something to the flavor in that one that I can't pick out.
Well, I mean,
because the bomb is still wrecking.
The bomb wrecked him. It nearly killed him. I mean, since we've gone, from the insanity to psycho, we all know you got your start in this whole content creation thing with 7 Days to Die. In that time, you've obviously created your best base, whether it be horde, all around, aesthetics, whatever. Which one is it and why? What do you keep coming up with when you think about that?
Man, I knew this question was going to come. This is one that I was thinking through myself, and I don't have a one answer. There's not a one base to rule them all.
Wrong. You have to have one.
From an aesthetic perspective, Hydra is still one of my favorite creations. The dragon head was, oh my god, a pain in the ass to make, but I still love that.
And that one's available on YouTube, folks. You can go check that out. He'll post the link right here.
Well played. The other one was the vault, the crafting base that I made on the Totally Not Prepared. Just the lighting and the aesthetics of the underground was so beautiful in that. From a functionality perspective, that's getting harder and harder. Because, you okay over there?
Lips just started tingling a lot more.
From a functional perspective, oh man, there were so many good ones that were just fun. Desert Panda, maybe. It was the best of both worlds. It had the crafting component to it, and it had the separate 4-lane shooting gallery.
That one housed a great many of us. I mean, that was one, though, that we did find out there were some issues with, because they started breaking through the walls to come through the backside, if you recall.
For no reason.
That almost happened recently, too, on a Twitch stream, too.
Almost like it was last night. Are we there? All right.
You know what this means now, right?
Yeah. I'm just gonna...
Gotta wipe the nose and
Gotta wipe the nose.
All right.
Try not to get it on the eyes.
This is the last dab, and true to its namesake, we're gonna have to do a little... You know what? Let's go with it. So this is the last pour, and true to its namesake, we have to pour. Okay.
I may have gotten a lot on there.
Yeah, They tap it off, but you know what?
We're not gonna do it.
So, thank you, Sean Evans, and what you do, because sitting behind this side, I don't know how you just stay so straight-laced the whole time and don't let this affect you, but cheers.
Cheers.
Here we go.
Oh God, why?
Well, there's definitely like a flavor to it, which, thank goodness. There's a little sweet up front,
It's building though.
but building, schmilding. After the insanity, you know, everything feels fantastic. But Wayward Echo, you survived the wings of death. We live to tell the tale. Everyone out there can see that these are now empty bones, mostly. You know, there's some favorites generated along the way. But what I want now is for you to tell this camera, this camera, or this camera what you got going on, what you want to tell us about, and you know what's coming up next for the Wayward Echo channel.
Yeah, so lots of good stuff coming up. We've got, I'm gonna look at you. How about you over there? The big thing is that I'm looking for Alpha 21. I'm sure all of you are looking forward to that. So I'm looking for all the content drops around that. All the information. I'm going to be doing the same thing that I did last time of staying up all night every dev stream and giving you the latest and greatest as soon as I can get it to you. And oh my God, the heat's still hitting me. That one built a little bit more than I was expecting. More charity stuff this year, in addition to ExtraLife, which I'll post some links below if you want to donate. But in addition to this, I'm doing another awesome charity this year called Stack Up, and I hope you go check it out. But it's supporting our veterans and their mental health, connecting deployed soldiers with folks back home through gaming, which, if you know me, you know my love of how gaming can be transformative of helping and building communities. And then, hopefully by end of this year, my big thing is we're building a house, and I'm going to have a whole YouTube studio as part of that I'm designed, and I'm looking forward to just pushing this out and doing more. So that's what I got.
Well, I'm most looking forward to your bar, just saying. Right, well folks, I hope you enjoyed watching us suffer, I mean, survive fantastically without any repercussions whatsoever. Everything's fine here, we're all fine.
Everybody's fine.
Yeah, nose isn't running or anything. But we're really happy to do this for the kids. That's what I kept thinking as I went through all these, going, yep, right here, this is for the kids. So thank you all for joining. Echo, thank you for putting this together. Really appreciate, you know, especially what you did for ExtraLife, and our awesome community. I can't say enough about our community.
And thank you for punishing yourself here with me.
I don't do anything around here.
As well as helping out with all the moderation type stuff and servers, and yeah. And thank you, community. Thank you all for the support and the love.
You guys especially. And you know, if you guys ever have anything you need, just reach out to Rookie. I've anointed him our community ambassador. He knows this, so he's gracefully accepted. He will welcome one and all. All right. Well, the only one thing left to do, say goodbye, folks. But I gotta let you do your traditional echo out.
All right, folks. Echo's out.
Hey folks, it's Echo here. I know this video was a long time coming and I hope you enjoyed it. Huge thanks out to all of you all who contributed and donated to ExtraLife. And for those who don't know, ExtraLife is an incredible charity that supports the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, making sure that kids of any, you know, economic background get the care and love that they need. You know, it's our borked healthcare system. You know, we got to figure out a way to help each other. So this is one of those ways. So if you want to donate to this year's campaign, there's going to be a link below. Also, if you want to join us this coming Saturday, we're going to have a huge kickoff. It's going to be a 7-hour stream and we'll be raising money again. So I'll have that link also up here somewhere on the screen. But otherwise, folks, thank you for watching. Take care. Much love to you all. I'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, everything was fine up until that fucking point right there.
Sorry.